This video today is to pay a little homage to some of the musicians, singers, and songwriters that we lost in 2024. I tried to cover as many as I could. Please feel free to use the comment section and leave your feelings and thoughts for some of your favorites or to add someone I may have missed. Let's start off with some of the guitarists first. Dwayne Eddie. He had a unique playing style, and by adding reverb and echo and his twang, Dwayne began racking up hits in 1958, becoming one of the most popular instrumentalists in recording history. Dwayne favored his Gretsch 6120 guitar and used a 100-watt Magnetone amplifier with a JBL speaker in the early years. He released 23 studio albums and compilations and had 15 top 40 hits. His rendition of the Peter Gunn theme was always a favorite. He was married 4 times, including once to vocalist Jessie Coulter. He died in Franklin, Tennessee. The cause of death was cancer, and he was 86 years old. Larry Collins was a little hotshot guitar player in the 50s. Along with his sister Lori, they performed as a rockabilly duo called the Collins Kids, becoming regular performers on Town Hall Party in 1954, appearing on the Grand Ole Opry, and then on the syndicated television version of the show Tex Ritter's Ranch Party in the late 1950s. Larry was known for playing his double-neck Mosrite guitar while dancing around his sister Lori. Later on, Larry was to start writing songs, and he would co-write on the mega hit Delta Dawn, which was first recorded by Bette Midler in 1971, and then in 1972 it became a top 10 country hit for Tanya Tucker, and a 1973 U.S. #1 hit for Helen Reddy. He also co-wrote the #1 U.S. Billboard hit, You're the Reason God Made Oklahoma. The song was recorded and performed by David Frizzell and Shelley West. Clint Eastwood picked the song out for his movie Any Which Way You Can. The song was to jumpstart Frizzell and West's career and made Larry Collins a lot of money. Larry Collins was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1944 and died of natural causes in Santa Clarita, California at the age of 79. Dickie Betts was one of the founding members of the Allman Brothers Band. It was Dickie who was said to have given the band its name. In 1969, the band quickly gelled once Dwayne Allman got his baby brother Greg to come back from the West Coast to play organ, sing, and write songs for the group. Of course, Dwayne was the main guitarist at that time, but after Dwayne's death in 1971, Dickie Betts stepped up and took over Dwayne's role, and the band kept going. Dickie would go on to write many great songs for the Allman Brothers Band, including Blue Sky, Jessica, In Memory of Elizabeth Reed, and Ramblin' Man. His guitar sound came mostly from playing Gibson guitars through Marshall 100-watt amps. Dickie died at home in Osprey, Florida at the age of 80. Complications from COPD and cancer were listed as the cause of death. Greg Kihn, along with the Greg Kihn Band, reached number 15 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1981 with the Breakup Song, and topped that in 1983 with Jeopardy, which hit number 2 on the national charts and became an early staple of MTV. He also became a radio personality and a novelist, writing several popular horror novels. Greg died from complications of Alzheimer's disease out in San Francisco, California at the age of 75. Tito Jackson was the guitarist and a founding member of the Jackson 5. Tito was on a road trip with his business partner to transport some of his antique cars from California to his new residence in Claremore, Oklahoma, when he began sweating and complaining of chest pains. The police stated that they were alerted to Jackson being in need of medical attention near a mall, and he was taken by ambulance to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. The cause of death was a heart attack, and Tito was 70 years old. John Mayall. Through his band, the Blues Breakers, several guitarists, including Eric Clapton, Mick Taylor, and Peter Green, flourished under the Godfather of British Blues, as he was called. John was a singer, guitarist, harmonica player, keyboardist, and producer. He had a career that spanned nearly 7 decades, remaining an active musician until his death. John died at his home in California on the 22nd of July at age 90. Now here's a name that didn't ring a bell, but the song and band sure did. Doug Ingle. Doug was the founding member of Iron Butterfly. He wrote, sang, and played the organ on the band's hit In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. Doug passed away peacefully on May 24th in the presence of his family. He was the last surviving member of the band. No cause of death was provided. Phil Lesh was the bassist and co-founding member of the Grateful Dead. He sang on some of the band's most memorable songs, including Box of Rain. In 1998, Lesh underwent a liver transplant as a result of chronic hepatitis C infection. He became an outspoken advocate for organ donations on live recordings of his performances. Later on, he also battled bladder and prostate cancer. Phil Lesh died on October 25th at the age of 84, and no cause of death has been given. Melanie Safka, or better known as just Melanie, she made her first public speaking appearance at age 4 on the radio show Live Like a Millionaire. She was one of 3 solo female artists who performed at the Woodstock Festival in 1969, and her first hit song, Lay Down, Candles in the Rain, was inspired by the Woodstock audience lighting candles during her set. She had her biggest American hit in 1971 with Brand New Key, and often referred to as the roller skate song, which went to number 1. The song sold over 3 million copies worldwide and was featured in the 1997 movie Boogie Nights. No cause of death has been given. Melanie was 76 years old when she passed and lived in Central Tennessee. Toby Keith. Toby released 21 studio albums and 8 compilation albums. He released 70 singles, with 65 of them charting on the Billboard country charts. 54 reached the top 40, 40 made the top 10, and 20 went on to number 1. This was all done between 1993 and 2021. Toby wrote many of his own songs. He was a great stage performer and has won many awards. His final performance was held in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Park MGM on December 14, 2023. Toby died at age 62 from stomach cancer. In March 2024, 1 month after his death, it was announced that Toby would be inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. Eric Carman was the vocalist and multi-instrumentalist of the early 70s group, The Raspberries. They recorded hits like Go All the Way and I Want to Be With You. The band would last about 5 years and then break up, and Eric would go solo. His solo career would come to light to many new fans with the recording of the song Hungry Eyes, featured in the movie Dirty Dancing. Eric was to write many songs for his solo career, and he wrote Almost Paradise, performed by Mike Reno and Ann Wilson for Footloose. His death was announced on his website by his wife, Amy Carman. She did not give a cause or specify where he died, saying only that he died in his sleep over the weekend. He was 74 years old. Joe Bonzo was the tenor singer of the Oak Ridge Boys for 51 years. His boundless energy on stage and big smile made him a focal point of their show. Although he sang most of the high harmony parts, he did take on lead vocals at times for a few songs, including their huge hit Elvira. He was known to many friends and fans as Ban Joey because of his love for playing the banjo. He was an amazing vocalist and entertainer with a wonderful personality. Joe passed away from complications of ALS. He was 76 years old. Dave Loggins moved from East Tennessee to Nashville in 1970 with a notebook of songs he had written. His songs were probably a little too soft acoustic sounding for Nashville, so he struggled, just a little. Then released his own album, which struggled just a little. But a song he had written on it caught the eye of the pop rock band Three Dog Night. The song was called Pieces of April, and it became a top 20 hit for the Three Dog Night. After that, Dave's song started to get noticed. His second album yielded the number 5 pop hit, Please Come to Boston, earning him a Grammy for Best Male Vocal Performance. During 1984, he recorded Nobody Loves Me Like You Do, a duet with Anne Murray, which scored number 1 on the Billboard Hot Country Single charts. Loggins and Murray were named Vocal Duo of the Year at the CMA Awards during 1985. Dave would go on to change his writing style a bit and take on Nashville again and win. He would have numerous songs recorded by many different stars. He would end up winning 25 ASCAP awards and was named ASCAP Songwriter of the Year for 1987. Dave Loggins died at the age of 76 in a hospice facility in Nashville. No cause of death was given. J.D. Souther was a very talented singer-songwriter who helped shape that Southern California sound. He was to write or help write many songs for the Eagles, including their first #1 song, Best of My Love. J.D. wrote songs for Linda Ronstadt. He even had a relationship with her. They lived together in a small house where the Eagles held some of their first rehearsals. He wrote many great songs that were recorded by the likes of the Dixie Chicks, George Strait, Bonnie Raitt, and many more. J.D. had a solo career, but he didn't do all that much with it. I guess Glenn Frey of the Eagles said it best. Glenn said, "One of the reasons J.D. didn't have a bigger solo career is because he gave us and Linda Ronstadt most of his best songs." John David Souther died peacefully at his home in New Mexico. He was 78 years old. If ever a man accomplished everything he set out to do, it was Chris Christopherson. I have to say, in my opinion, he was the greatest songwriter of them all. The guy could paint the most colorful pictures in your mind with words. And you know what? I'll just leave it at that and end this video right here. Feel free to add your thoughts and pay your respects in the comments section to these people who gave us so much music to enjoy throughout their lives.